Today on CHGO Blackhawks, we take the Athletics Blackhawks fan survey. Take that, The Athletic. Join us next on CHGO Blackhawks. I don't know. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast live from the Xfinity Loft. We're off to a rollicking start. We are presented by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the app, wipe off your microphone, and use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. That is the snot-covered Mario Tirabassi.
Boy.
I am the slightly damp Jay Zawaski, and Chloe's over there, I think, protected by the monitor. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. Hey, that's live. If you had any question ever, if we were live.
When a sneeze
now you know.
Sneaks up on you.
Oh.
Good.
See, this is why you fly in producers from Denver to just be on top of stuff and ready to go.
Yeah, take that, Steven.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's why we demoted Steven to the Bear Show that has 600 million people watching on a Wednesday in April.
Oof,
take that, Steven. I'm giving out a take that, Sam, like David Kaplan, but with real YouTube viewers. All right, welcome in. We appreciate you being here. Do us a favor, hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're listening on the podcast, we love you. We respect you. You are OGs. Make sure you're following or subscribed there as well. By the way, I want to shout out today. I was doing some Mother's Day shopping, and I was in Orland Mall, and I ran into Anthony, a very loyal CHGO Blackhawks listener. So, awesome. Anthony, if you're listening, hello. Took a picture with Anthony today.
Nice.
It was nice. So, yeah, it's always good to run into the fan.
Picture with?
With, yes.
That's always
He
good.
did not take a picture of just me.
That's always good. That's always the way to do it.
If you don't know that story. What was that, Rockford?
That was in Rockford.
Yeah, someone just like, hey, my mom's, was it the mom
It was
or
the
daughter?
mom of the daughter. She said, my daughter's a big fan of you and the show. Can I get a picture of you? And I was like, yeah, okay. And
just Mario.
I stood there expecting her to walk over and do a selfie. Nope, just picture of me. And then was like, thank you, and just walked away into the night. And later, the actual daughter saw me at a Hawks game and was just like, that was my mom. And so it was fine. So
yeah, that was
I was just stood there like,
how awkward.
Okay. Now that's just out there.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Someone random just has a picture of me now.
No, but shout out to Anthony and all the great people at Orland Mall. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me today.
We're off the rails.
All right. You know what we're going to do today? Because The Athletic, as it's known to do, and this is why I pay for it, it throws topics in our lap several times a summer, and we appreciate that. Today, The Athletic, Mark Lazarus, Scott Powers published their annual Blackhawks fan survey, and there were several questions asked. We're not going to do all of them. We want you to, check out the whole thing. They obviously put a ton of work into this. And this year they changed it up a little bit. They usually do it right after the draft and free agency, so it's a little bit of a window into the vibes after all those things happen. Today they did it this year they did it on the heels of the season. So fresh wounds, whatever you want to call it. Here is what they came up with today. And we're going to go again, not through every category, but we're going to ask the question they asked. We're going to give our answer and then share the results that Hawks fans put forth. So we're going to start right now with the first question we're going to answer. How confident are you in where the Blackhawks rebuild is at?
A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
With 1 being the least confident and 5 being the most, obviously. I voted a 4. I feel pretty confident in where things are going. I have a lot of trust in the direction it's going, a lot of trust in the people that are put in the position to get the team where they want to be. And that's Danny Wirtz, Kyle Davidson, Jeff Blashill right now. I feel like the right people are in place to get it where it's supposed to go. And I think objectively, just like looking at how the process has gone, there's really nothing to say, for me at least. There's really nothing to say like this is going to be an abject failure, or it already is.
Yeah,
according to some people. The reason I didn't go with a 5 is that I feel like this season could have been better. I think I'm not 100% unwavering in lockstep with everything Kyle Davidson has done or everything Jeff Blashill did this year. But it doesn't take away from where things are going. So I'm still very confident in where things are going. I'm just not at the point where I'm just like everything is sunshine and roses.
Yeah,
because it's not.
I'm in a similar mindset as you. If 3.5 was an option, that's what I would give it. But I will round up, and I'll call it a 4 for a lot of the reasons you said. Like, primarily, and I think this is where a lot of the sticking points are. Is maybe there's been some beef with who was taken versus other people.
Some bone of beef.
We've talked about this a lot. That's some foreshadowing. We know what we're talking about. We're talking about the Levshinov-Demidov thing. And like you said, Mario, I think there's a little bit of like, maybe it felt like some guys would be a little further along than they are right now. I think Kevin Korchinski would be on that list. I think that maybe I expected Ethan Del Mastro to be more established at this point. But at the same time, I think you're seeing guys ready more quickly than you expected. Nick Lardis, Oliver Moore, Louis Crevier made a big jump. So I think for everybody you feel like is maybe a little bit behind or a little bit slow, I think there's other people that have sort of jumped them. So it kind of balances out. So I'm comfortable with a 4 there as well. The plan is sound. Whether or not all these draft picks pan out, whether or not this becomes a Stanley Cup champion or a Stanley Cup contender down the road remains to be seen. But what I like about it is the plan is sound. We have seen other teams around hockey that have tried to middle it. It wasn't us tweeting it. It was hockey fans around the country saying, now look what the Kings did. Look what these guys are doing, right? Like, it's just not working, and they're going to be stuck in the middle forever. The plan is sound. Now it just needs to work, so that's why I'm giving it a 4. Now, in terms of the fan vote, 38.8% of the fans said a 4. Second biggest answer was 3 with 32.3%. Then it went 2, 5, 1. I don't know how you can realistically take the survey and give it a 1. That just seems like you're just not a puck knower.
I think I'm certain that there are people that subscribe to The Athletic and get the information, great information, insight from Scott Powers and Mark Lazarus, and just believe everything is gone down the toilet. And they don't believe in Danny Wirtz. They don't believe in Jeff Blashill. They don't believe in Kyle Davidson. They should have never traded any of the players that they did. We should still have Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat and Brandon Hagel and all so on and so forth. But still are fans of the team. But I think what we kind of found out through the results of this survey is, at least from Athletic subscribers, the people who are the doomers or seem to be vocally against the way that the organization is going are in the minority of how this representation of the Blackhawks fan base actually does feel.
And I think it's a good reminder to us because I feel like we, day after day, night after night, post-game after post-game, seem to only hear from, not only, that's not fair, but seem to hear from a lot of the naysayers, right, who just want to come in and say everything is falling apart and there's no plan.
Yeah.
There's definitely a plan. Again, whether or not it works remains to be seen. But, if you're at a 1, I think that is almost like, or even a 2, I think you're almost just digging in your heels on not liking the idea in the first place and being unwilling to change your mind.
Right, yeah. Probably in the camp of people who are like, the rebuild should have ended with Bedard. But it started, basically.
It basically started with
Bedard.
Yes. All right, next question we're going to get to. How confident are you in Kyle Davidson as a GM? Again, this was 1 through 5, with 5 being the highest.
Again, I gave him a 4 because I like what he's done for the most part. I believe in the rebuild plan. I don't feel like he's done much of anything to warrant a failing grade, but I'm not a 5 because we gotta get some answers now, and it's hard to give a 5 to a guy that really has only taken away from the organization and then drafted well.
Yeah,
I would say.
we think.
Now is when we can start to really grade where things are at going forward, and the job that he's done, and especially this offseason. That's going to be a big part of it. And then the results and where this team lands next year really does put the spotlight on his job. And if it goes south, puts the heat on him.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm at a 4 as well. And the only reason I'm not giving a 5 is because I think there is one question we need to answer from Kyle Davidson is, can he get the big trade done? Can he acquire the massive free agent? Can he pull off the giant trade, right? Does he have that in him?
Yeah.
And I think we're all cool with him being patient. We're all cool with him being like totally bought in on the plan. Like we said, we're bought in on it. Most people in the chat are bought in on it. Most people that took the survey are bought in on it. But you've got to have, at some point, it's time to move this thing forward. And I thought it was a little bit last season. I think me and you and most people are very much saying, okay, this is the offseason. Mm-hmm. You've got most of your guys here. Most of your draft picks have risen to the NHL in various ways, right? Some have played 5 games, some have played 40, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But all the guys that you're looking at, aside from Kantserov, who we expect to be here, and whoever they draft this year, they're all going to be here. So it's time for that next step to come. I think you've gotten a pretty decent feeling of what you've got already, and how maybe if you don't know how high the ceiling is on a prospect, you at least know, okay, this is an NHL player that we can work with, that we're comfortable having here. And I think there's some others that you could maybe say, I'm not so positive this is a full-time NHLer, or I'm not so positive this guy has a fit on our team, and it's time to start filling in those gaps. So that's where I'm at. That's why it's not a 5. And until Kyle Davidson pulls off that big, huge move, and I'm not saying the Jones for Knight thing wasn't a huge move, but that was a little bit different. I'm talking about bringing in an asset, period.
The addition.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, an addition. That's what I need to see. So until he does that, it's a 4. And if he doesn't do it this summer, when we talk about this next year, it's a 3. Because it has to get done.
Yeah, I think the idea of the importance of this season is a big factor in moving forward, how you grade him. I know he got the extension, so there's the organizational belief in what he's been doing, but people get fired all the time with contracts, and I just feel like what plays out this offseason is a big indicator of where the team's going, how Davidson is doing, and I would be interested to see, if he hits on things, adds a player or two that is impactful, and you get positive results out of that.
Yeah.
Like, that can only make people feel better about Davidson's job. I do wonder how it might even change before you even drop the puck on night 1 of the season, if they don't really do anything this offseason and they kind of just go, well, you tinker around the edges, but it's mostly the kids. Before you even play, how that might affect how people view him as a GM. Because we've heard the almost got done,
Yes.
kicked the tires, did
No
that,
more almost.
If it's another one of that, like, it really is going to come down to the results. And if you're hinging it on most of the young kids to get you the results, like, that's a big roll of the dice. if you're Davidson.
All right, the results of the poll, 43.5% said 4, 23.8% said 3, 16.3% said 5, which is surprising me. That's a high number. 10.2% said 2, and 6.2% said 1. So the majority of these positive reviews for Kyle Davidson. All right, we're going to hit the break zone. We will be back in a couple minutes. While we do that, why don't you hit the like button? We'll talk to you then on CHGO Blackhawks. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi, and what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That is the well-named Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine having Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice you have them. It's super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family is online. All of your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 years. And the best part, no annual contract, no hidden fees, and you get Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from us. A lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. So lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more about the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only and restrictions do apply.
Whether you're heading to a World Cup game or watching from home, Buchanan's is the whiskey to choose. Rooted in London, this welcoming and bold spirit has made its way around the world, connecting cultures far and wide. This social mixer is awesome with large groups, family, friends, co-workers. If you're heading to a fan fest or a game, be sure to try a Bucharita, which is 1.5 ounces of Buchanan's Deluxe whiskey and 4 ounces of pineapple juice. Super easy to make, super easy to drink, and you can be your own bartender. Try to make it at home. And, of course, this summer, be on the lookout for U.S. men's national teams watch parties. I know some of us here at CHGO are going to be going to some watch parties.
I'd imagine Alex is going.
Yeah, USA games, hopefully a lot of them.
Let's go.
Whether you're at your favorite spot or stocking up for home, make it Buchanan's.
All right, we're back on CHGO Blackhawks. And today, again, to prove we're live, April 29th. You know what that means?
It's Jonathan
It is
Toews'
Jonathan
birthday.
Toews' 38th birthday.
38.
Young.
Hooray, Jonathan. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
This is I'm so glad I saved this photo on my computer. This was from, I think, going into the 21-22 season? No, 22-23. They did like an Instagram, like behind the scenes of like media day or whatever. And I remember screen grabbing this because you never see Jonathan Toews like in a candid moment like that.
Yeah.
Those the party hat is photoshopped. The sunglasses though are real. And then I remember they deleted this. The Hawks did. They deleted the picture from like the Instagram carousel and from Twitter and stuff. I don't know why. But I'm glad that I kept it because that's a fantastic picture of Jonathan Toews.
That's a very silly thing to delete. Don't show me having fun.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be Captain Silly. You got to be Captain Serious.
I guess so. Well, hey, he did it 82 games this year. Came on
Good
towards
for
the
him.
end. It's a massive achievement for him. He's got to win the Masterton, right?
It's one of the
I'm
weirdest.
think, is there
It's one of the weirdest awards, but
it just seems like
I gotta imagine. I gotta imagine he does because just it's how documented his health battle was. The fact that it was 2 years off from hockey and then came back, the story of playing in his hometown, and then he gets all 82 games.
That's crazy.
Like I did not expect him to play. I felt like if he played 50 or more, that's a win, and he got all 82. So
Good for him.
I
We said all
think
along,
it'll
man.
be
If anyone
his.
can do it, it's him.
Yeah, I think it'll be his award.
Yeah, it should be. All right, next category from the Athletics fan poll. How confident are you in Jeff Blashill as head coach? This is another 1 through 5 question.
Again, I gave it a 4. I think Blashill came in not as I think the guy that a lot of people expected to get hired or even wanted to get hired. But by the end of the season, I think we got a really good understanding of why he was brought in. I think the results on the ice, there was an improvement.
Certainly.
Year over year. You saw improvement from some of the young players. Not a 5 because the results weren't, up to like the 80 points range or anything like that, which was a high expectation, but I think something that I felt at least at the beginning of the year attainable. And then some of the roster decisions, lineup decisions, not super thrilled about some of them. Burakovsky sticking on the top line for way too long, being the biggest one. But overall, like, not being a big Jeff Blashill guy when he was brought in.
Yeah.
I think we all were really high on, the idea of David Carl coming in. But now I think he did a really good job. And moving forward, like, I feel better about things after year one of him moving forward than I did of Luke Richardson.
Oh, sure.
Moving forward.
And, like, we're not trying to bag on Luke Richardson, but, like, what I look at now, and look, we are pretty fresh on the beat, right? The first coach that I covered full-time and you covered full-time on the beat was Luke Richardson. So we didn't have a ton to, like, compare to in terms of being on the beat every day in the room at practice, talking to the coach.
It was Derek King.
Yeah, I guess technically Derek
Technically,
King. But
yeah.
First, like, full-time hired guy, like that sort of thing. The way I am kind of going with my feelings with Blashill is how the players talk about him. Mm-hmm. And they all seem to be very happy with the way he communicates. They know where they stand. They know what's expected from them. I think we've talked about this often from day one of training camp. He set a tone for this team of, like, there's not going to be any time wasted. If we're practicing, we're accomplishing something.
Yeah.
You're not skating around. You're not passing pucks. You want to hang on the ice afterwards for a little while? Cool. That's the time to do that. But get on the ice, take your lap. If practice is at 11, we are blowing the whistle at 11, and you are expected to be ready to go. I like that, and I think players welcome that. And I think we did hear a little bit after Luke and maybe a little bit too after Sorensen. Guys were kind of like, they weren't really saying it, but they were hinting at, hey, like, coach us. We want to be we want to be coached hard. We want to have expectations. You don't have to walk on eggshells around us. We're ready. We want to be good. Help us be good. And I think Jeff Blashill's done that. Whether or not he's the championship coach when it's all said and done here in Chicago, whether he's the guy, if the Hawks win a cup, that's hoisting it on the ice with them remains to be seen. But from a guy that I was kind of like about when they hired him to pretty impressed from day one with him. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's really changed. Yes, the Burakovsky stuff was maddening. Yeah. But clearly, he's not like an idiot in just one regard. There had to be something that he was seeing or something he knew or whatever it might be that made him continue to do that, right?
Yeah.
He had, and he talked about it all the time, like, our proprietary information says he's doing well. He wasn't. But there's got to be something there that Blashill knew.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, in 15 years when a documentary comes out about the Kyle Davidson rebuild, maybe we'll hear from an elderly Jeff Blashill. He won't be elderly. But, oh, yeah, that was a big story, and this is why we did that. And it's like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
He'd be, 65? How old is he? 50?
I don't know. I think he's older than that. He's 52.
Oh, so 15 years from now, he'd be 67.
He would be 67.
It lives on in the off season. I was going to make a point, and then I forgot.
Well, you said a 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a 4, too. But I think this is a big year for him, right? I kind of want to see – I think he did have kind of a simplistic system this year. And I think you want to do that when you're bringing a lot of new guys along. But I think as this team grows, and maybe it's not next year, but down the road, I would like to see a little more aggressive of a plan put in place. Let these talented young players use that talent, use that ability. And again, if you're able to bring in a veteran or two to help insulate and protect young players from young mistakes, even better. But just let guys be themselves. And I think he's done that more than any of the coaches that have been with this group prior. But I'd still like to see those reins loosened a little bit more. But we'll see. Yeah. Overall, very happy with it. The Burakovsky thing was very, very strange. But aside from that,
nothing major that was like crazy off the board, like what are you doing kind of thing. Even some people mentioning going with 11-7 and back and forth of that, like it made sense when he first went to it. It was like, okay, I get it. Like getting all these young,
they had their best stretch of hockey under that,
getting all these defensemen the opportunity to play. And do you need to, oh no, are we sitting Sam Lafferty? Like, it's, it was fine. And then you change it with did that come when they sent Renzel down, that they then went to 12-6 because they only had,
I think so,
6 guys, something like that.
Feels right.
Yeah,
in my brain.
But yeah, even that was just like, okay, you tried it, and it's not the wildest thing that's ever been done in hockey. So I remember what I was going to say. You mentioned about the when Richardson and the team responding about like how they wanted to be coached. I do remember Nick Foligno at the end of the year talking about at that point being like, we were communicating with Richardson of like how we want to practice. And he was basically like, we need to practice better next year. And like, that's, as you mentioned before, like that has been Blashill's approach since day one of just like not wasting any time. And at the end of the year, he was experimenting with some of the young guys in different spots in the lineup, different combinations, give different responsibilities, the 5-forward power play. Like he didn't want to test those things out in training camp, just go status quo through the final 20 games and just, we'll leave that for the offseason or we'll leave that for the preseason. Like he wanted to try it now so that you get an idea of what does or doesn't work or what players might play off of each other well or not, so that you're not figuring those things out in training camp and you can just hit the ground running and basically, and it's going to be a shorter preseason next year.
Yeah.
Thank gosh.
Yeah, thank you.
So you don't have 6 games to figure things out. You have 4, and you can't waste any time, and you don't want to. You want guys to be ready to go right away. So I like that he has that mentality.
Me too. I got a super chat here. Well, actually, let's save that. That's Kid K. We're going to get to that topic a little bit later on in the show. We have let's get this one in real quick. Oh, here are the results. Thank you, Chloe. I forgot to do this part. How confident are you in Jeff Blashill as head coach? 41.4% said a 4, 34.6% said a 3, 11.5 said a 5, 8.9 said 2, and 3.7% said 1.
Basically a 3.5.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah. That's about what I'd expect.
Makes sense.
Yeah, aside from the Burakovsky thing, nothing crazy that I can criticize.
Yeah.
All right, next one here. We can try to get to it kind of quickly here. How confident are you in Danny Wirtz as chairman and CEO? This is another 1 through 5 question.
Hold on to your hats, everybody. I went with 4. Because I think he's not. It would be hard to give him a 5 because I don't feel like he's very hands-on to where you really point to so many things being like, well, Danny definitely did that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he is obviously invested and part of what's happening. He's not just passively letting the Hawks operate, but I think he's doing it by putting people in spots to succeed in front office roles and then letting them do their job. And then if you need to correct things, he's there to do it, but to be that person. But I feel like he's not meddling.
That's it. In
a negative way or in an overly like positive way where you're like, oh, well, Danny's controlling things. Kyle's not even doing anything.
That's it.
Yes. I feel like he's in the rights. He's involved in the right amount, and under his guidance, I feel like some things outside of the hockey are good with the Blackhawks. They got the project going on that's going to revitalize that area.
The Blackhawks Ice Center.
The Ice Center expansion. Like, I think the CHSN thing is still a knock against him. I think a lot of people, though, if they kind of know the ins and outs, probably feel like maybe that was a Reinsdorf issue than a Wirtz thing.
Look,
but
it's worth acknowledging that like he was pretty much a new owner at that point. Rocky died unexpectedly, right? Like it wasn't like Rocky had a long illness and there was like this plan in place. Like I think we all knew Danny was taking over.
Yeah.
But that was sudden. They had to adjust on the fly. I would assume that CHSN stuff was well underway. And the Reinsdorfs and Wirtzes have had a long partnership, for better or worse, with the United Center. There's common tenants with CHSN, with Comcast Sportsnet, with NBC Sports Chicago. Like, that goes way back. Danny Wirtz is a, 45-year-old owner of a team. Is it going to be like, screw you, Jerry Reinsdorf, I'm doing my own thing? I think in hindsight, both sides, well, I don't want to speak for Reinsdorf because who the hell knows. But I think in hindsight, Danny Wirtz would have done that differently. And I think that and this is just, I don't have any inside info on this. This is just me talking. I think that however long that deal might be with CHSN, however long that commitment is, I think that they will try to find a way to do what Dallas is doing, or just have their own proprietary app where they can just say, stream it. It's this amount of money. It doesn't matter where you live. Victory Plus. Like Victory Plus is Dallas and there's another team. It doesn't matter. There's another team plugged onto Victory Plus, and you just download the app and you can watch all the Stars games.
Is it Utah?
I think it is Utah. Yeah, and it's just like, that's it. It is that simple.
Yeah.
And sure, is there money to be made, money to be lost? Yes, media is ever changing. We know that. But I think he's done a good job. To me, the perfect sports owner is the one who lets the sports people do the sports thing. Tom Ricketts did not F with Theo Epstein, right? And I don't think that Danny Wirtz F's with Kyle Davidson. Just let the people you hired to run hockey, let them run hockey. He does that. Some of my complaints about the outer stuff, I don't know if it falls on Danny Wirtz's plate. I think there were some in-arena inaccuracies on some of the graphics. I think they could have done way more in terms of giveaways and promotions for the centennial year. I feel like there were some things left on the table that could have been there.
Yeah.
But I also think that is Danny Wirtz delegating and saying, I'm running the organization. You handle this. You handle this. You've all got your own departments. Everyone go and do their thing. And he'll use that time to evaluate and make his decisions down the road when the time comes. But so far, I'm pretty happy with Danny Wirtz. The survey says the same. Most people gave him a 3, 36.8%. Second was 4 with 34.9%. A 2 at 10.9%. 5 at 10.3%, and then 1 was 7. And I think a lot of this is reflected of the CHSN thing. People can't watch the game. It's too complicated.
Yeah.
And they're pissed about it, and frankly, rightfully so.
A 3.5.
And the app sucks. Basically. They've got to fix the app.
Yeah.
I can watch the app on Safari, but not on Chrome.
Usually it's the other way around.
It's bizarre. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to why it works and why it doesn't. And CHSN has been on the air, for now, 3 years? This is entering year 3?
This will be year 3, yeah.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Hire somebody to fix your damn app.
I have no insight to it.
If you're asking people to pay $20 a month, it's got to work.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's got to be reliable. It's got to be functional. It can't be like, well, you're on this side of the Chicago River and not this side.
Right.
So, no. Keep it simple. All sports is getting too hard to watch. Fix it. You are a healthy enough organization where you can say, we're going to set the standard here for streaming hockey.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you want to watch our local broadcast, here's how you do it. Everyone has access. Boom.
Especially when you launched and the way that the teams are positions they're in, with the Sox rebuilding, Hawks rebuilding, Bulls now rebuilding, like, you can't have a product that lets the fans down and then is pretty pricey.
Yeah.
But I imagine things will start to even out. I don't have CHSN because I really would only watch the Hawks, and anytime I'm watching the Hawks, I'm either here or at the United Center. Don't let the White Sox hat fool you. I'm wearing this because Gavin McKenna is a White Sox fan, so in solidarity.
Yeah, I'm sure he's
people who want to be in Chicago.
Huge Colson Montgomery guy.
Yeah, you never know, but I think that still kind of hangs over Wirtz a little bit.
All right, we are going to hit the break zone one final time. Back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. May is Beef Month, and I'm here for it. Beef. Announcing the Bona World Beef Championship. Eat or share as much beef as you possibly can during May, National Beef Month.
Like Lady and the Tramp style?
I think so, but I'm not sharing. All who reach the championship level of 50 beefs during May, that's not a lot, will receive 61,400 bonus points of bonus rewards points at Bona, good for beef or any item on the Bona menu. Be the hero. Use the Bona app to order beefs for your friends and family and office mates, or just you. That's fine. Get ready to play. Bonus rewards start to accumulate once you've reached 5 beef orders in May. Does this count for combos? Do beef and sausage combos count? There's only one way to find out.
It is beef.
Get more details at BUONA.com, Bona.com.
As a man, are you starting to feel like you have low energy throughout the day? Don't have the same motivation and drive? Seeing that scale number go up and the hair fall out?
It's not the 50 beefs.
Are your muscles tightening up when they shouldn't be? Well, you need to eat some more beef. No, it might be a result of low testosterone. It's very common as you age and something to be mindful of. And whether it's peak performance or just becoming a better father, a better husband, or a better man, Game Day Men's Health wants to support every man's health journey through personalized care tailored to your goals. They have a very quick and easy process at their locally and family-owned clinics. You can be in and out in an hour, and they have a high success rate with testosterone treatments, vitamin supplements, weight loss treatments, hair loss treatments. If you don't believe us, take it from Josh, their customer who lost over 100 pounds in just over a year using their testosterone replacement therapy. Start your best life with Game Day Men's Health. Go to GameDayCHGO.com to find a location closest to you.
All right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks, and now it's time for the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. Now, we know we're all hockey all the time.
We're going to shift to your other podcast for a second.
Exactly. But something came to our attention that we thought you'd want to know about. Is this ready to go?
If you've ever heard of Dairy Queen.
No, never heard of it.
They do ice cream. And they do it pretty well. And they have the dipped cones. Usually it's just chocolate, I think.
I love the cherry dip cone is my favorite.
Okay, there you go. They came out, and now this is like nationwide. So you can go to your local Dairy Queen, and I'm sure you're going to be able to get this. Cinnamon Toast Crunch dipped cone, including Cinnadust.
Yeah.
Now, listen.
If
you've been a fan of this podcast for a long time, you'll know that
Keep that up. What are you doing?
I can't have that cone of the ice cream. I'd risk it for this.
You had to eat the cone.
This sounds amazing. No, you know what? Why not? I got to get the full experience of this cinnamon toast crunch dipped cone. You could cinnamon toast crunch flavor pretty much anything, and I'm gonna be in on it.
Is there gluten in Cinnadust?
Not in not in the Cinnadust. I can't have cinnamon toast crunch because of the crunch is I think it's wheat based.
Yes.
But the Cinnadust Bugles have cinnamon toast crunch Cinnadust, and I eat those, and they're delicious. But yeah, I would dive headfirst into this dipped cone.
I'm a big fan of the crunchy soft. Like that texture where there's like a little bit of grit, like a little bit of the sugariness to the sweet, and that is going to scratch that itch. I gotta say, the Homewood Dairy Queen is a Homewood tradition unlike any other, and they've been open for like 2 months, and I haven't gone yet. I don't know what's wrong with me. Wow. I'm gonna have to fix that today. Apparently,
I think the closest one to me is in Antioch.
Yeah, I mean we have like one of the old school walk up.
I like those.
You know, all the high school kids work there. It's like a rite of passage, and like when it opens, it's like a holiday in town because they close for the winter.
Yeah.
And I just have not gotten there yet, but I know exactly where I'm going when I order there. That sounds awesome. And you, Chloe, you kind of bristled at the cherry dip cone. Have you had it before? You don't like it? That's weird.
Too sweet or? I get that.
Yeah.
If it's not like if it's not on the sweet side enough, if it's like more like the like tart like medicine vibe to it, that can definitely turn you off to it.
Yeah. We went to Seven Brew yesterday, and my wife got a
Seven Brew's good.
Cherry coconut cream, and I'm like, this tastes like cough medicine. But I will say the Dairy Queen one, very artificial.
There's no real cherries involved.
It's not a real cherry. It is like neon red. You can see it from space. So it is very sweet. It doesn't have that tart medicinal taste to it. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we have a super chat from Young Dangle God who says, joined late, and we're talking about how sugary sweet it would be to re-sign Kaner. Thank you for the $1. We appreciate it.
Nice.
He is funding Chloe's salary. We're here for it. Thank you very much.
I don't know if that's a good thing for Chloe.
Hey, he's been doing this for a long time.
$1 at a time, I guess.
All right, we did Danny Wirtz. Next up.
No, back to
seriousness.
Back to hockey.
People are going to be mad.
We'll talk about more food later.
Yes.
Eat your beefs.
When do you expect the Blackhawks to make the playoffs again?
I said 4. I mean,
this has 3 options: 2026-27 next year, 2027-28, or 2028-29, or 4 or more seasons from now.
I went with. I'm trying to remember. I did 27-28. It'd be nice if it happens next year. I'll gladly take that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like season after next is, I think that's when the realistic expectation should be for this group to make the playoffs.
That's the key word, is expect the Blackhawks to make the playoffs.
Yes, because at the end of the season exit interviews, a number of players mentioned, like, we want to be in the playoffs. Like, that's our expectations of ourselves. And that's great to hear. That will have to take a lot of offseason growth from all these young players. It'll also have to take a lot of production from the veterans. Tyler Bertuzzi will have to replicate what he did this past season. Teuws, if he's on the team, needs to replicate what he did the first year he was back here, not last season. You would need Ryan Donato to produce a little bit above his weight than he did this year. Not saying be a 30-goal scorer again, but 40 points would be nice. And then you'd also have to probably add those impactful forward and or defensemen to the group, to where you're not relying on all young guys or all first, second year players to push you forward. You would get somebody that fits into, your top 6 or second, third line role, or a second pair defenseman that comes in and is productive. And like, you'd have to hit on all those things. You could find a way to do that. There is a road that happens.
Yep.
And then you talk about upper 80s into 90s of points if all those things come to fruition and you see all those progressions. But that is big wishful thinking for next season. I think if you get a fraction of that, you use it as a building block, you get into the 80s in points this year. Low 80s would be nice this upcoming season. And then you can say, realistically, 27-28, this team should be fighting for the playoffs.
That's where I'm at, too. I think if they don't make the playoffs in 27-28, it's a failure.
Yeah.
Like that. And I think when this rebuild started, that was the year that a lot of people targeted as, like, this should be, based on everything we know, the arrival date. And that was even kind of before we knew they were getting Connor Bedard, right? Like, you thought, hey, 5 years is enough time to restock this thing, considering where you're going to be drafting in a draft and your mindset with this whole thing. You should be able to get there. I think next year, as the question asks, when do you expect the Blackhawks to make the playoffs again? 27-28, it is my expectation they make it. Like you're saying, this year I think there's an outside chance if everything goes right. Like if Bedard, Frondell, etc., and if Roman Kantserov is a stud and you bring back Mikheyev and like everyone plays at the back of the hockey card or better, cool, maybe. But 27-28, it begins to be the expectation, and Hawks fans agree. 57% of the people polled said 27-28. 18.3% said 28-29. 26-27 were 16.8%, and then 7.8% said 4 or more seasons from now. If that's the case, a lot of people are fired.
Yeah, if they're not in the playoffs by that 28-29 benchmark, I would imagine coach, GM, there have been some changes.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot hinges on the progressions we see this year and next year.
Yes. A couple super chats here. We did Young Dingle God already. I want to save Kid K for a little bit later. So Adam sends in a $10 super chat, says, got a 3-part question for you.
Oh, boy.
What's your level of confidence in the following next year? Number 1, the Hawks have 90-plus points. 2, offseason moves affect the Hawks' place in the standings. And 3, Jay starts a Cubs podcast fan page. Right. I didn't talk about it today. I'm going to write about it today.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to write about it this week.
I was like, you're going to join the Cubs podcast? We already got more people joining the Cubs podcast.
Yeah. 90 points.
If I'm ranking them as most confident to least confident, I'm most confident in number 2, that an offseason move affects them in the standings. Maybe they, who knows what else happens in the Central, but, maybe they do leapfrog. Maybe it's Nashville or Winnipeg is more than a one-season blip where they're down in the standings, or maybe they get up above St. Louis. Who knows? They might need to get to 90 points to make some of that happen, but I would say number 2 I'm more confident in than number 1, and I think you got enough podcasts.
Yeah,
so I
good.
think number 3 is at the bottom.
Thank you. I agree with your ranking there. All right, next question here.
Thank you,
Thanks for the
Adam.
super chat,
Yeah.
Adam. We appreciate that.
Good one.
What are you most concerned about with the Blackhawks right now? Your options are offense, defense, nothing, and goaltending. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What are you most concerned about with the Blackhawks right now? Offense, defense, nothing, or goaltending?
I voted defense. And it's not to say that I think that they're headed for problems necessarily. I just feel like they have more darts at the board that should hit in the forwards group. And I think the defensive group, I think you just have more questions. Mm-hmm. But I still feel confident that those questions will be answered, but I think there's just more question marks and kind of like figuring out what the defense actually shakes out to be. The forwards, I feel pretty confident about,
too.
honestly.
I do too. And I know they got to add more offense and they got to score more goals, but I think that's going to come with development. And if you are able to add pieces that help your top 6, and you're doing that with Kantserov and Frondell, even if that's it, you're going to have a significantly better offense than you did last year.
Yeah.
Assuming you don't lose anybody that we're not expecting to lose.
Right.
So my big concern is defense too, because Levshinov is still a question mark. Vlasic seems to have kind of maybe peaked. Is this what he is?
Right.
We talked to Chris Pronger last week, and he's like, yeah, I said 300 games, but at this point with Vlasic, you kind of know what that's going to be. There's not going to be a huge change from there. Mm-hmm. Kaiser has elevated, but how much more is there for Wyatt Kaiser, right? Korchinski has yet to establish himself as a full-time NHL player. So while I believe in a lot of these guys to reach their potential, none of them have yet. Mm-hmm. So until you see more brilliance from, if Levshinov comes in next year, full season number 2, and starts to look like a number 2 overall pick, then the conversation changes. Mm-hmm. And again, I think he can get there. It's just a matter of when. But I need to see a lot more from him. I want to see Korchinski solidify himself as an NHLer and like put some points on the board. Mm-hmm. I would like to see another step for Vlasic. I feel like, okay, you look at the offensive talent that's here and that is coming, you feel like you'll be able to get enough goals even as they are right now, right? Like, with what's in the organization, what's in the system. I think there's plenty of offense. The defense I'm not as sure about, because basically what you finished the season with this year, that's your defensive organizational system. There's really no one else aside from Tage Harding that even projects as an NHL player anytime soon. And even he's kind of like, yeah, maybe.
Right.
He's not a guy you're penciling in to be a long-term thing at all. So they've got to figure it out, which is why as the draft approaches, if they're not picking 1 or 2, they have to seriously consider a defenseman. The respondents to the Athletic poll disagree with us. They're most concerned with the offense. 55.2% say that. 42% say defense. 1.8% say nothing.
I want to live in that
Kyle
world.
Davidson chiming in. And 1%
Oh,
said
hello.
goaltending.
Bye. See ya.
So that's a big vote of confidence
Chloe,
in
I think you kicked
Spencer
cord.
Knight. Are
All
we
right,
still in here?
Our TV's gone.
All right, let's keep going then.
All right, bye.
Yeah, we lost our TV, but we're still on the air, so that's what
we
matters.
see you in the chat, in our hearts.
So yeah, 1% goaltending means that pretty much everybody is bought in on Spencer Knight, as they should be.
Yeah, there's no reason to worry about him. I think even if you're not a big fan of Arvid Soderblom, or you really want to push for Drew Comezzo to get the backup spot next season, it's not enough to outweigh what Spencer Knight did this year and what he's meant to the team and what he will continue to mean to the team. And I don't know if you saw, but our friend Jay Fresh Hockey, speaking about the Vezina finalists, which were announced today, Andrei Vasilevsky, Ilya Sorokin, former Blackhawk, and Jeremy Swayman, brought up 4 different analytical models of goaltending impacts this year. And Spencer Knight landed on the Sport Logic top 5 goaltenders for impact. So there you go. A little bit of acknowledgement for Spencer in the season that he had.
Yeah, that's it's well earned, and I think when you dig into the numbers there for him, you really see how big of a how huge of a difference he made for the Hawks this year. All right, next up on our poll, on the Athletics poll, whatever. What are your NHL expectations for prospect Roman Kantserov? Star forward, depth scorer, no clue, or I'm not convinced he's coming to North America.
I went with star forward. I want to be optimistic for him, and I think what we've seen in the KHL should give you some confidence that kid's got game, and he's still very young. There's still a lot for him to learn. It's going to be a transition period next year, but I think what he's shown you is someone whose stock has risen for sure since being a second-round pick a few years ago.
Yeah, I'm going to go optimistic on this one, too, and say star forward. And I think star is very you can interpret that a lot of ways. Because I think there's some people that would call Frank Nazar a star, right? And there's some people that would say, oh, he's a depth scorer. But I think that Roman Kantserov will be
or he's trade bait.
Yeah, I would say, conservatively, out of the box next year, I would imagine probably half a point per game. And then as his career goes on, like a 60, 70 point guy.
That'd be
and do you call that
really
a star?
Nice.
It's an all-star level player.
It's a
more
top,
than a depth scorer.
Yeah, much more than a depth scorer. Yeah, I don't know if you necessarily. I don't know if that's like a star, but that's one of those guys that's like that tier below star.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if he comes in and reaches that with what else is coming to the forwards group, what's already here, where guys can develop, you could see him being the 3rd highest scorer if that's the group, with maybe Frondell and Bedard as 1 and 2. That might be a spot for him to land as far as production goes, which would be great.
70-point scorers in the 70 range this year. Svechnikov, Bratt, Ehlers, Tavares, Batherson, Barzal, Stone, Slavkovsky, Kempe, Gunther, O'Reilly, Crosby, Schmaltz, Hagel, Bedard, Forsberg, Raymond, Rantanen, Hughes, Zibanejad, Nylander. Those are all your guys who are from 70 to 79 in points.
And some of those guys you would say reaching the 70s is a down year for them.
And a lot of them missed time with injury.
Rantanen.
Nylander played 65 games. Hughes played 61. Rantanen played 64.
Right.
So they're well over a point per game. So in terms of guys who did it over the course of full season, Philip Forsberg had 75 and 82. Lucas Raymond, 76 and 80. 74 and 82 for Nick Schmaltz. I would call those star-level players.
Great second tier of the NHL.
Yes.
For sure.
Can you read us, since we have no screen, Chloe, Kid K's super chat?
That's a good point about the competition of the KHL. Because Kaprizov and Panarin were playing in the KHL 10 years ago, basically. Yeah. When was Kaprizov drafted? 12, 15?
That feels right.
Because he spent like 4 years there before coming over.
Yeah. He was 2015.
15.
Yeah. 5th round pick, by the way. Not bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Pretty good pick. Yeah. I think
that's aiming pretty high.
That's aiming really high. Kantserov will have spent less time professionally in the KHL than both of those guys did. So that is saying, can he come over and be one of the best Russian players in the game? That's high expectations. But I mean, as far as like what he's done this season, it's on track with what Panarin and Kaprizov did. So yeah, I mean, your head goes to that spot. I'm going to set my expectations lower so that I can be more surprised if he does reach that spot. But I mean, if he's again like we were just kind of saying, like if he tops out at being like that 70-point guy, I think you're very happy with that, especially as a guy that was a second round pick.
All right, so the results of the poll: 50.8% say star forward, 25.1% say depth scorer, 16.5% say no clue, and 7.6% said I'm not convinced he's coming to North America. All right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
We'll see.
The last one here, and I'm having trouble finding it, is what should the Blackhawks offseason priority be? Kyle Davidson's offseason priority. There it is. It is add a top 6 forward, add a top 4 defenseman, stay the course, and continue building from within, or other.
I went with forward.
Okay.
Because I think, or no, I'm sorry. I went with defenseman. Because I think that along with the thought process of what's the important, or what do you have more concerns about? I feel like the addition of a steady, reliable veteran defenseman, second pair, whatever, that would have more impact pound for pound than if you add a equivalent forward. Because again, like I said before, I have more confidence in the forwards group figuring out what they are and getting to those levels than I do the defensive group at this stage.
I'm with you. I think adding a top 4 defenseman is more important. I know the concern is offense for everybody, but having a legitimate top 4 guy will help you offensively. It will. You will allow fewer goals, theoretically, and they should be able to chip in if they're a true top 4 somewhat offensively. Now, if it's a Jamie Alexiak guy like we've talked about, or they bring back Connor Murphy, I don't think it's quite the same impact offensively, obviously, but like you said, I have way more belief in the forward group as currently assembled, plus Kantserov, and potentially plus McKenna or Stenberg, than I do in this defensive group.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think adding a top 4 defenseman is priority number 1. I think you could maybe caveat that with, like, if adding a superstar forward was an option, I might put that out, because if the option's there for one of the names we've discussed many, many times, Nyes, Robertson, etc., I'd maybe put that up there, but I think that the possibility of that is significantly lower. That's not a top 6 forward. That's an all-star level franchise kind of player.
Right.
So if that's possible, do that. But the result of the poll says 59.9% said add a top 6 forward, 19% said add a top 4 defenseman, 15.2% said stay the course and continue building, and 5.9% said other, which I don't know what that would be.
What? Oh, for his biggest priority. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's going to get done. It's not an if, it's a when.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
No, me neither. All right. Thanks, The Athletic. We appreciate it. Always good stuff. Check out the whole thing. There's several more categories in The Athletic's piece done by Scott Powers.
And a lot of the comments that were submitted as well are
100%.
good. My biggest takeaway, again, is that if you ever encounter someone who's really down about the Blackhawks and in all facets, they're probably not in the
minority.
In the majority of how the fans within Chicago feel.
I agree.
So
Good reminder for
I feel
everybody.
better about that.
Me too. All right, we will talk to you tomorrow at 3 right here on CHGO Blackhawks.
We all silly like the mayor.